This is the Mars rover Perseverance, the most advanced robot to land on another planet. In this video, we'll take a look at how it was built, the Atlas V launch, the journey to Mars, and the scientific instruments that allow it to study the surface. This video is sponsored by Morning Brew. Is, of course, not the first rover to visit Mars. Sojourner was in 1997, a very small rover, and here's a person for size comparison. Spirit and Opportunity in 2004, these were identical rovers sent just a few weeks apart from each other. Curiosity landed in 2012, and then Perseverance in 2021. Same size as Curiosity, but much more advanced technology. This is not a complete list. This just shows the most recent rover sent by NASA in the United States. For most of this video, I'll be focusing on Perseverance. NASA designs and builds the rovers in Pasadena, California at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL for short. This took about 8 years of designing, building, and testing to get Perseverance ready to go. It was built in a clean room that's free from dust or other contaminants. It's designed to work on another planet, different atmosphere, different gravity, and most of all, no repair station. It has to be engineered so well that it can last for years on its own. On top of that, it has to be light and compact so it can fit inside of the launch vehicle. Once it was ready to go, the rover was carefully packaged up and then flown across the United States to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This is where the launch happened, the same place that NASA has been launching rockets since the 1960s. Perseverance was installed along with several other components that went along for the journey to Mars. We'll talk about each one of these pieces later in the video. This was all put inside of the payload fairing, then taken to the rocket and then lifted up to the very top. This rocket is called an Atlas V. It's made by a company called the United Launch Alliance, or ULA for short. Let me point out that the rover was actually upside down for the launch. The best time to launch to Mars is about every 26 months. If we show this with the correct scale, you can barely even see the sun. For this animation, I'm going to show this out of scale so we can see this a little better. For the Earth to get around the Sun, it takes exactly 1 year, right? No surprises there. Mars, on the other hand, takes almost 2 years to get around the Sun. The best time to launch is right before Earth and Mars are lined up. This is called a launch window, and it happens about every It's made up of a few pieces. Here's the rover, all folded up inside, the descent stage, this has 8 rocket engines on it, the heat shield, which slows us down through the atmosphere and protects the rover, the back shell, which protects the rover as it descends to the surface of Mars, and this is the cruise stage, provides power, fuel tanks, and thrusters, and also keeps in communication with Earth. This whole assembly stays together during the 7-month journey to Mars. We'll need to adjust our path along the way. We do this with the thrusters on the side of the cruise stage. This is called a trajectory correction maneuver, or TCM. The rover's systems, deploy the mast, and then the robotic arm in the very front. The main purpose of the Perseverance rover is to look for signs of life. It landed in Jezero crater, which, billions of years ago, used to be filled with water. Where there is water, in the very front of the rover. This has a few tools at the end with some really big NASA acronyms. So here we go. Low-gain antenna, mostly used just to receive data from Earth. Of course, we can't forget about Ingenuity. This is the helicopter that was sent to Mars along with the rover. Now, where would you put a helicopter on the rover? Look closely, you'll see a little tiny black compartment right here. This is where it was stored. About 2 months after landing, the helicopter was finally deployed onto the surface. The process took about a week to complete. First, the cover is removed and we expose the helicopter. Then it's unlatched, carefully folded down, the legs come out, and dropped onto the surface. Perseverance can drive away and Ingenuity can start to absorb the sunlight on its solar panels. The helicopter has 2 rotors that rotate in opposite directions. On Earth, most helicopter blades spin at only a few hundred RPMs, or rotations per minute. For a helicopter to work on Mars, we have to spin the blades a lot faster. This is because the air is much thinner here. The first test flight of Ingenuity happened about 2 months after landing on Mars. The first helicopter to fly around on another planet, and it turned out to be a huge success. As of this video, there's been a handful of flights and Ingenuity is still operational. Perseverance paves the way for future missions where we will hopefully be able to return Martian samples back to Earth. And of course, the next major milestone, sending humans to Mars. Keeping up with the most important topics nowadays can be time-consuming. How do you stay informed without just aimlessly browsing social media sites? It can be a huge time waster. This is where Morning Brew comes in. It's a free newsletter that's delivered right to your inbox 7 days a week. You can stay up to date on business, finance, and tech in only 5 minutes. Lately, I've been able to keep up with what's happening to inflation and gas prices. I've also learned a few details about Amazon finally launching its drone delivery service. You can even keep up with Elon Musk and the details about purchasing Twitter. And you'll also be pleased to know that Morning Brew covers events about Mars rovers and other space-related events. Morning Brew is witty, relevant, and informative. This is a great way to start your morning routine. The newsletter is completely free and it takes just a few seconds to sign up. Just go to morningbrewdaily.com/JaredOwen or use the link in the description below.